something more my style. Welcome to Home 301. I call my channel Home 301 because I live at 301 Anywhere Street, USA. In a previous video, I was showing off some of the molds that I use when I'm working with clay. And today I thought, why don't I use some of those molds to work with some wax? I have a bunch of wax that is melted in my little GG melting pot here. The GG melting pot is meant for wax that you use to wax your legs or your face, but that never really worked out for me for some reason. My hairs are so fine, the wax doesn't really get them. So again, I spent money on a beauty product that wound up in my crafting supplies. Now I'm using a syringe to suck up some melty wax and squirt it into my mold. And you can see laying there, I had tried some of the new foamy cause clay. Foamy cause clay. Yeah, I used the black and I used it on this particular mold to see how it would come out. But you know what? It was too squishy. I need something that's going to be very hard. And I didn't feel like using clay again because it takes forever. So I figure if I use wax, that doesn't take very long to set up. So you just need to get enough wax to get into all the little corners and crevices. And this is my first time doing this particular wax medium on these molds. So it's a little bit of a learning curve, but I like it. It really is working out nicely. Get all that wax up in them little points. So you can see that I'm struggling here to make sure that all of the wax gets into all of the spaces in the mold. So I'm going to try. So now I'll get some wax to go into my bead mold, which is a really handy mold to have. I like the bead mold. There are 3 different styles of bead trim on this particular mold, and I've used it several times with clay. This is the first time with the wax, of course. So now that it's all dry, let's see how well it pops out. And look at that, popped out really well, all in one piece. Spoiler alert, that doesn't happen again. After this perfect first one, I managed to snap all of them at least once in half. But it turned out really cute, and it smells good too, because this is a mulberry candle wax that I'm using. And let's pop out the little bead ones too. They don't want to come out quite as easily, but you know, I always get what I want, and those things are coming out of there. Come on, get out of there. And like so. And let's take a look. Perfect little string of beads. I really love it. They made it come out in a bunch of little pieces, but they will go back together. You'll see. Now that I have the procedure figured out, and I have to unstick the dried wax from my squeezy thing, hypodermic, and start trying to load up another one. I figured out that I'm gonna need 8 of these leafy mold trim parts for my frame that I want to zhuzh up. So I know some people will be like, oh, well, how hot of wax is that, Jeanette? Well, it's however hot the GG gets it on just past medium. It's not on high. It doesn't have to be at the most extreme setting to melt this cheap candle wax. And honestly, I don't think you have to put it on the most extreme setting to melt any kind of wax, really. Still having a hard time getting all of the little crannies filled up. But I have a secret weapon that I'm going to yank out in a minute. So I'm getting that so full, but it still doesn't look like it's going into the crevices very well. What is a poor old woman to do? Gotta get that bead filled up and still messing with those silly corners and crevices. Oh, and now I'm popping out, what is this, the 3rd one? And boom, broken in 2 spots. That's all right though. This is wax. We can melt it back together with a lighter, probably. And another thing I'm discovering about working with wax is when you have excess You just dump it back in the wax melt pot. You're not wasting anything that way. And to think, I was going to throw that used up candle out in the trash, but instead, I'm going to use that wax to zhuzh up this old frame that I have. Crafting is really cool. So this is my fourth struggle with these little tiny crevices and corners. Will I finally remember that I have a secret weapon for working with anything meltable, really? Let's see how long it takes me to figure it out. Gotta get the beads on. These are the easy ones. Even though they break up a whole lot when I'm pulling them out of the mold, they just set up so nicely. No hunting for crevices and cracks. And look, I had figured out to shove this plastic needle up into the syringe to get some of the extra wax out of the hole so I can suck up wax again. Oh, and there's that heat tool. I've had this heat tool since my Stamping Up Club days when I had to spend $30 a month on Stampin' Up products to go to the parties that I went to in Yerington, Nevada. Hey ladies, I hope you guys are still Stampin' Up. Although I bet you aren't, it's been a long time. So this heat gun though, look how handy it's coming in. It just melts all that wax all over again and almost makes it flow quite naturally with the little breeze that it creates of expelling the heat, and just kind of makes it flow right into. So hey, at least I figured it out, only 4 mold trims in, right? It's also melting the needle of my little plastic needle. You know what I'm saying. So yeah, let's finish up with those. And here we go. Got 8 of them and a bunch of little beady things too. I just laid all of my trim pieces on a big sheet of cardboard just to keep everything nice and orderly. Look, there's that one piece that didn't break. All the other pieces are broken. But again, it really doesn't matter. And here's the frame. I had painted it once and put these dots on it and I don't like it. So I'm going to change it. You might not think that Elmer's glue would hold wax onto anything. But it does. It holds it on quite nicely until I can get a first layer of Mod Podge over the whole thing, which is a sealer, which will seal everything in. And the glue actually kind of acts as a sealer on the bottom too, although I don't think that's really very necessary to seal it on the bottom where it laid up against the frame itself, because it's going to be sealed all around all of the edges. And this wax, even if it gets hot enough to melt sometime in the future, it's not going to be able to escape its little prison, my babies. It's just going to have to sit there covered in Mod Podge, holding its shape no matter what. And I hope it remembers that I'm the one who put it there and gave it immortality, basically. So I have this long razor in my crafting supplies, and it's actually a clay craft tool, and it's cool because I can heat it up without burning my fingers and cut through this wax very, very easily with the heated razor. When I first got this razor blade, it was so very sharp, and it comes with that little cover you see behind me, behind my hand, that little blue cover that slides right onto the sharp part of this razor blade. And I have used it extensively over the years, and it is not quite so sharp anymore. Although if I want to make it sharp, I can sharpen it up with a that knife sharpener thing. What's the word for that? The knife sharpener thing. The stone, a knife sharpening stone. Hey, I can still remember eventually, right? We'll start worrying about me when I can't remember it at all. And this happens sometimes already, but you know, I might forget what I'm talking about right in the middle of a sentence if I get distracted. So bear with me. Aging isn't easy, you guys. You know, first your body starts betraying you, and then your mind starts betraying you. Jesus, where is it all going to end? In death? Well, that's pretty likely. So, yeah. In Depth, which is also the title of a series of books that I love to read by J.D. Robb. You should check it out if you like to read. Some of you might wonder what that little spatula is, and it is just a little spatula. I got a couple of them at the Dollar Tree, back when the Dollar Tree still sold everything for $1. Can you imagine? So even though I'm trying very carefully to get this all exactly where I want it, those corners are going to be a little bit of a problem for me because I'm just not that talented, people. Let's just, call it out, say it like it is. But I have a secret fix for it, and it works out just fine. And you guys will see it in a few minutes. Some more hot razor action. And will it go through like butter? Yes, it went through like butter. Very nice. Very easy. And a little razor action for the third corner. And can we get it first shot? Yes, we can get it first shot. That was probably my best corner yet, actually. Let's glue it down. And let's cover up those silly dots that I did before. I could have just told you guys that I picked this frame up from the secondhand store, painted up like this, but that would be a lie. And I really do try not to lie to anybody, not if I can help it. Mostly, if I lie, it's because I'm being polite and telling you that your hair looks good, even though it doesn't. So maybe some of you could come on here and lie to me. Tell me how great my crafting is. I think that would be great. I love it when you lie to me, if it's to protect my feelings. And if you're very astute, you might notice that I just put that piece of trim on backwards, or at least opposite the way that the first piece of trim was going. It's because they were all broken up, and now I put that one on the opposite way. Oh my God, what was I thinking? I'm telling you, this is how it's gonna stay, so there's no fixing it now. Oh well. Once it gets all zhuzhed up, maybe it won't be noticeable. I'll always know though, and now so will you. Can we get it? Just do it. As soon as you take it off your targeted area, you've lost the script there. Get over there and cut that right. You know better. That was a bad angle. That's better. That's better. It's not perfect, but like I said, I have a workaround in mind to help with all of these corners. You'll see in a sec. I'm going to go ahead and play some catchy tune while I speed ramp this part of putting all of the beads on. Because it's pretty tedious, people. Let me put on some music, huh? Tedious, wasn't it? Now let's get on to fixing these corners up. I realized that some of these little beads might look just right laying across the corners and cover that little gap. And I can take them and melt them with some wax a little bit and stick them on there as just as good as hot glue, maybe even better, and melt it and stick it. And it stays just like that. It's terrific. Look at that. They don't fall off or nothing. Oh, there we go. And as promised, no waste. All of it goes right back into the wax jar. Full disclosure, I used a little bit of purple puffy paint to fill in some of these gaps that you see here. Now it's time to get a really good thick coat of Mod Podge onto my wax trims. And this is the part, folks, where I really believe it'll seal the wax in, and even if the wax gets to a melting temperature again, I don't think that it will leak out at all. This is my hypothesis. Now, am I going to stick this in a 250-degree oven and wait for it to melt? No, I won't do that. I'm just going to hang it on my wall and keep it out of direct sunlight because I'm not an idiot. I know, you're not supposed to say idiot anymore, but hey, if you can be smart, try to be smart. That's all I'm saying. And there we have it. One coat of Mod Podge on. Now we need to paint everything black. Of course, you want everything black because you don't want to have any little crevices glowing through your paint job later. So if you paint everything black first, then that pretty much solves that problem. Besides, don't they say once you go black, you never go back? Right, ladies? I don't even know what that means. I don't know what it means. I like black licorice. Do you? I know that people either love it or hate it. Same with black olive. Well, I love them. Even though I'm painting this as fast as I can, I still find this boring. I hope you guys will bear with me because the end of the project is pretty cool. Gotta get all those inside. You don't want to leave those blank or whatever color that is. Finally all black. And that's one more coat of sealing. Sealant? This wax ain't ever gonna leak out, put it that way. Now comes the fun part where you get to decide what kind of colors you want to put on your frame. It's already so drastically different. Even if I just painted it with this metallic bronzy color and just left it at that, that would be pretty cool, I think. I wouldn't hate it sitting on my wall. This is my favorite part, to watch all of these highlights come out with just some paint on my brush. Isn't that so cool? I never get tired of that part, ever. And a little bit of a look how it's coming along. You can see plenty of the dark underneath. And once you get it all done, like I said, I could leave it right here and I would be happy with it. But I want to try to put some highlights back in. This is where it's dangerous for me to watch other YouTube channels because I saw another lady painting some baubles and she went back in after it looked perfect and painted it with these white highlights. And then she went back and painted it darker again. So I'm going to try that. I don't know how successful I'll be. This is the first time that I'm going to try and do that particular technique of going white and highlight over after I already did the bronze. So we'll see how it turns out. You'll have to let me know if you like it. I don't know if anybody is watching these videos yet. It feels like I'm pretty alone over here. But eventually someone might see it and someone might have an opinion on whether I should have just left out all this white part. And I guess it is okay to note that I'm not putting any of the white down along the sides. So all around the outside and all around the insides, there's no white. So you can still see the darkness coming through, the lightness. I don't know for sure where I'm going with this, but we're gonna keep on going on. What else are you gonna do, right? We're in it now. See what happens. Oh, look at this as wicked colors. I had gotten wicked colors for a paint gun, you know, a paint sprayer, a spray gun. It was a real piece of shit and didn't work out at all, but I really liked the paints, so I still have them. They're very opaque for being so thin, you know, good for a paint spray gun if you had one that was worth a shit. So again, this is what I saw the other lady on YouTube do. I can't remember the name of her channel. Oh my gosh. If somebody else knows who paints baubles and does the gold and then the white and the blue and then more gold again, you'll have to let me know, because I'd like to watch her video again and see where the hell I screwed up. Alright, it's looking pretty bad now. I don't know about this, people. I just don't know. Oh, here we go. Let's do some gold. Gold fixes everything, right? Yeah, well, there we go. We'll bring it back a little bit. And I think that even in super fast speed, you can see that I'm pouncing. Pounce, 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 pounce. You don't want to smush it at this point. There's so many layers of everything on there. If you start smushing, you're gonna, I don't know, you'll really mess it up. Only pouncing from now on. Pouncing or light brushing. Pounce, pounce, pounce. Pounce, pounce, pounce. Guess I just about got rid of most of that blue that I put on there. I don't know that I will try that again. Although, since I'm going to put pictures of ghosties in my frame, I've heard that blue is a good color to fend ghosts off. So maybe it will help to trap them inside of my frame. So here I'm going to go in with some black again and get it back to where I was before I hit it with all that blue. Don't tell everybody about that blue, people. I want everybody else to watch my video too. If they know I was such a bonehead, they might not watch my video. So, our secret. And now I'm using the wipe off technique, and the paint that I'm using now is not that wicked color. It's a chalk paint, and chalk paint lends itself to being wiped off a little bit better than that wicked colors paint, because that wicked colors paint dries super fast. Because, you know, if you were talented enough to use an air gun, etc. And there we go. Well, it's looking a lot better. I like it a lot more now. Let's cover it with some more Mod Podge and seal in all of those paint layers. And I'm just hitting the very top of it because I want it to be a little shiny. Gotta dig all of that Mod Podge out from between the leaves now because it's really grabbing a hold. That wax, we forgot that wax was there. Oh look, it's all done. Surprised myself. There it is. I like this a lot better, and of course it looks better in person too. But I got all my ghosties and my witchies on there, and that's how I decorate my room. This is my room. And there's Clopsy and Corny. I just finished making Corny last week, but I've had Clopsy. Hi Clopsy. I've had him for a long time, but Corny is new. And of course, I'm sure you all saw me make Gypsy Cat. There's Gypsy Cat. She says, have a great day, everybody. Okay, bye.